Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Gerard, Black in the Philippines, with the truth. I want to thank you for stopping by my channel. I want to thank all my subscribers. Um, I want to welcome my new subscribers. I hope you enjoy the ride. Uh, Please like, share, um, and subscribe. Don't forget to tell a friend. And thank you to all my let me check this dude out, my scallywags, my triggers and peaches. I want to thank you all for joining me uh, today. What I want to talk to you about today is something that I've been wanting to talk to you for a little bit. In fact, I did a video, but I just hadn't posted yet. But since I'm doing this one, I probably won't. I want to talk about the difference between love, being in love, and unconditional love. First, let's go with unconditional love because that's the most simplistic. Unconditional love is the love that a child has for its parents. That's love that is unconditional. Your child is going to love you most of the time, regardless. And it takes a great deal to break that unconditional love, you would think. Case example, I have two daughters. And because of what the mother and I went through from the beginning in getting together, you know, uh, her joining me, when I was in San Francisco, I decided to move to LA to continue my education as a broadcasting engineer because I want to work TV cameras. And she was going through it. And let me try to fill in the gaps because I don't want to put something in here that later I'm going to feel that I didn't give you the whole story. When I first met her, I was on a bus in San Francisco and I was getting ready to fly to New York for the weekend. And I gave her my card. She said she did stripograms. I showed you what stripograms were before. Girls that would knock on doors and do a stripogram or whatever like that. And so I said, call me and come by my studio. And she did. When I got back at that time, she was going with, she was living with some guy who was gay, and they were dropping mushrooms and drugs and all that stuff was involved in it. And, that day after we finished the shooting, when I walked into the bus stop, it was raining. So we were inside of the doorway. So we were close together. And so I leaned over, or maybe she leaned up, and we started kissing. And so I did another photo shoot with her because she was an actress, and or she had to play a lot of characters. So I did a composite shoot of her in different situations, as a homeless woman, as I can't remember the other characters, but I did that. So anyway, so one day she came to me and she said she had to move, and asked me, that she needed to make money fast. Do I know any way how she can make money fast? So I said, look, there's only one way a girl can make money fast, and that's if she, prostitutes, if she, does that. And so she asked me, could I teach her? I said, can I teach you? Can I teach you? You're talking to me, a black man. No, I'm like, I had my experiences with prostitution and pimping, in my earlier life. And so I said, sure. So I said, welcome to Gerard's, crash course in Hawaii. So, I taught her what I knew, and I told her the most important thing is never close your eyes when you're with a client, you know. So anyway, so what I did was I had a neighbor, so I said, here, I said, look, man, I'm gonna give you this $20. I'm gonna send this girl in here, have sex with her and show how easy it is to make money. So he agreed. So while he was in there with her, I peeked through the door and she had her eyes closed and her head hanging over the edge of the bed. So I walked up behind her, I straddled her head, and pow, I smacked her. And she's like this. I said, you see, you never close your eyes. The most important rule of hoeing. I guess. So anyway, it was graduation day. It was time to send her out. So I sent her out. And um, by this time, I had let her move in with me because she couldn't stay where she was at because there was problems going on with her and her roommate. So I sent her to this bar, and I said, okay, now look, you go inside there, and you get a guy. I said, when you walk out with him, I would count to 20. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 10, 1,000, 11, 1,000, 12, 1,000, 13, 1,000, 14, 1,000, 15, 1,000, 16, 1,000, 17, 1,000, 18, 1,000, 19, 1,000, 20. And then I would follow you. So that was the plan. So she was in the bar, and I see her talking to this guy, and then all of a sudden, they both get up to leave. So I fade around the corner, and when they came out, when I came around the corner, they were gone. They were nowhere to be found. And so I waited. They didn't come back. So I went back to my studio. I waited there for about an hour or so, and I came back to the bar. Nothing. Nothing was there. She was gone. So I said, oh, well, no skin off my nose. She's gone. And so it was a Sunday night. So that Monday morning, I woke up and I said to myself, I said, I says, if they disappeared that fast, chances are they have to live close by. So I went and I posted myself up around the same corner, and because I figured he has to go to work. And I waited. And sure enough, here he comes. Like he was whistling every step. And he got on the bus, and I got on the bus behind him. And I got behind him, and I got to his ear. I said, if you don't take me to where that girl is, I'm going to terrorize you all the way to work. And he said, oh, no. He said, I'll take you where he said, we were consenting adults. I'll take you to her. I said, take me to her. So he took me to her. And when I walked in his apartment, she was laying in bed, and she was just, cozy up and dreaming sweet dreams of nothing. And I said, I keep it, get up. And she, I saw Jesus in him. I said, get up, get dressed, and come on. So she got dressed, and she got back to the studio. At this time, I had a nice Panama hat. And she would say, I said, you stupid. You're so stupid. Too stupid to be a hoe. And she said, I'm sorry. And so I said, so like that. So, she asked to move in, and I said, yeah. I said, but hoeing is out, out of the picture. I'm not doing that again. So at this time, most girls who were street entertainers or who were out there in life, they were something before they became that. some of them were secretaries, you know, they had a skill. And I always tried to incorporate that skill into what it was that I was doing, you know, as to, contributing to my household while at the same time doing what they had to do, which was being a street entertainer. So I let her move in. And when she moved in, she brought her artwork. And I could not believe. I said, wow, you did these? She said, yeah. She says, she's an artist, and she does these pixelations, which is like a series of dots, and she make caricatures. She can make a character. She is better than those cats on the street that can do a character of somebody, very quick or like this. She had that type of skill. I said, wow. I said, if you did these, I said, I can use you in my photography studio. And so at that point in time, we joined forces. And she became like my makeup girl, my set design. She was always good making, stage designs for my, or props for my models and all that stuff. She was very cheerful. She was, she was, you know, useful. Now, at this time, I had another girl. Her name was Maureen. And Maureen had to go into the Bahamas. And Maureen had came back. And of course, she says to me, Gerard, yeah, oh no, she went to Jamaica. Gerard, you're definitely not Jamaican. I said, oh, really? You ran into black dudes like that? You can come back and tell me that I'm not Jamaican? So, there's a Robin Thicke song that says, I know you want it. I know you want it. Okay. And there's a line that is, that boy is not Jamaican, like that. And I took it as, the size of his member, what I'm saying, like this. So I took that as Maureen telling me that, oh, Gerard, you're not Jamaican, And so I said, okay, cool, get back to work. So anyway, so Maureen was beautiful, and she became our primary model that we would do makeup on. And so I'll see if I can find one of the shots of Maureen and put it here. And you can see the type of makeup and the intricacy that, and the color coordination that she used, so I'll see if I can find that. I'm sure I have one. So anyway, so like I said, I had already applied for Columbia College of Broadcasting, which is next to the Red Fox studio, where I was going to go to school to learn, become a broadcasting engineer. So I called her and Maureen into the room and I said, look, at this time, Diana had found out that she was pregnant. Now, I didn't know who the father was. It could be mine. It could be that guy she went out on a date with. She could have been the guy who I paid the money to have sex with her, or it could have been the gay guy. I don't know what they were doing, but it is a possibility. So I told them both, I said, look, I'm going to Los Angeles. I said, both of you can come with me, one of you can come with me, or neither of you can come with me. And I told Diana, I said, Diana, if you come with me, I'll treat that child like it's mine. And so Diana chose to come with me. Maureen chose to stay in San Francisco. So we loaded up the truck, a U-Hauler, and we moved to, I had gone down to Los Angeles and found a place on Gramercy. As a matter of fact, Gramercy was the same block that Marvin Gaye was killed on, Gramercy in Los Angeles. But he lived in North Gramercy, I lived in South Gramercy, so there was some distance there, but it was, the street was the same name. So anyway, I got an apartment. Diane and I moved down. We picked up a little puppy, and I named him Angeles, which is what was a golden retriever. And when we were moving in, there was some guys decided to help us, wants to help us. And this one brother came and he was wearing his white jogging suit, like this, saying like this white jogging suit. And he came and said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yeah, sure, I can help you." So he helped. And when he turned around on the back of his jogging suit, he had one big blood spot right there. And, so, and it was white, so it jumped out. And so, you know, Diane and I looked at him and said, "Wow, what kind of wow?" You know, like just, welcome to Los Angeles. You know, so those type of things. So anyway, so we moved in and we settled in. You know. At this time, you know, my money was low. You know, we're waiting on the government to, you know, I was still getting a check, but at that time it was very small, and I worked. And Maureen had got a job working as set design in this boutique called Dynamite Boutique on Hollywood Boulevard. And you know, she did fantastic work in the window. The guy loved her. So inside the store, there was a girl who worked there. Her name was Leia. I'll never forget Leia. Leia was beautiful. I think they were Armenian or something like that. She was gorgeous. And she was a pharmacist. And so Diana had told me that she was a pharmacist and asked me if I had some experience of, of, of being a dealer. And so, you know, so I said, sure, sure. I said, yeah, yeah. You know, so I became a distributor. And so at this time, during the process, you know, uh, I always sold to people who have more to lose than I do in my past dealings. I learned that. And at this time, Diana's getting bigger and bigger. I think she's like in the seventh, eighth month or something like this. And at this time, I was working in the lab and I had a friend who asked me if I wanted to go to Billy Preston's ranch. Billy Preston is a very famous singer. He was known as the Fifth Beatles. So I went there and Billy was sleeping. He said, Billy, Billy, wake up. I got somebody to meet. And he didn't wake up. He said, wake up, wake up. He's got cocaine. Billy popped up. So anyway, so during that process, he was laying down his album for the week. And that week was Diane and I went to the studio every night and to recording in studio. And then after the studio, we went to his home. So to make a long story short, while I was in Topanga Canyons, is where he lived. Diana was home. My place got raided because I couldn't stop the riffraff from coming up. You know, at that time I was just selling the pimps and, you know, like this because, you know, I'm in with the in crowd. I go where the in crowd go. And I called a detective. I said, look, it's not her you want. He said, okay, come turn yourself in, Gerard. So I said, okay. They didn't find anything. They found my pad where I kept notes. So I was horrified that the baby was going to be born in jail. So what happened was that they let us out that Monday on our own recognizance and nothing else done of it, you know. And the baby was born. And Dinah was in the hospital and she was saying, you know, this is your baby. I said, that's not my baby. That baby is like white, like he's straight out from the Caucasus Mountains. Yes, it is. Yes, it's your baby. It's your baby. And so I looked, and I got down. I took a closer look, like this, and I saw my mother's cheekbones, and then I saw my mother's forehead, and I saw my mother's lips, and I told Diana, I said, Diana, I'm gonna accept this baby, but if I accept this baby, I'm going to have two. I don't want to have a single child. And Diana said, no, 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 I'm not going to have one. I said, yes, you are. And she got pregnant again, and that's my two children. Now, anyway, it was, you know, it was good being, and at that time, you know, I started getting high on my own supplies, so I was kind of off the walls and what have you. But anyway, Diane and I had gone through some things. And when the child was born, and after Diane and I separated, the child became her friend. She became um, someone that she would vent to. And as a result, she got all the anger, all the animosity, all the hatred of me from us going through what we did. She passed on to her. And when I call her on the phone, she would, and I would say, Diana, are my daughters in the room? She said, yeah, they're right here. I said, why are you talking like that to their father? I said, you don't say that. With stuff like that, you say to just me. But when the kids weren't in the room, it was, hi, how you doing? How are things? I'm doing fine. The kids are doing fine. They're outside playing. And I said, the kids aren't there now. She said, no, they're outside. I said, I can always tell from the tone of your voice how you talk to me. So my oldest daughter grew up disliking me. She grew up disliking me. This is what I'm talking about, unconditional love and how it can be changed or altered. She grew up not liking me. Uh, you know, she um, called me her bio dad. You know, uh, she just resented my being a father. And if you asked her why, she couldn't tell you. She just stand there shaking. I'm, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. And I would tell her, well, if you're just like me, little girl, you should be a bad little bitch. But anyway, uh, so that relationship between my oldest daughter and I uh, never mended. It never mended. And I could never figure out why. I remember BET, because I had written Oprah in jail. I've written, people about what's going through, with my daughter, like this, and because there's something wasn't natural about it. And BET wanted us to be on a pilot called Daddy's Home because they heard about it. They flew me to, I think it was Virginia, to see a psychiatrist, all this stuff like this. But my youngest daughter didn't want to be in it, wanted to be in it. But my oldest daughter didn't. So it never materialized. So I never could figure out why. I think about fathers who abuse their daughters, fathers who sexually abuse their daughters, fathers who deserted their daughters, fathers who, did not claim that they were their daughters, and they still love their fathers. And I couldn't understand why my daughter could not love me. I wasn't the first man to live on the East Coast and a child on the West Coast, and there was, you know, uh, 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 and I wasn't the first father, who got caught up in the drugs. Nor was I was the first father who ever went to jail. But I always maintained, you know, my ability to take care of them, because I was in the service, or my disability, and if I couldn't fill the gap, my side of the family filled the gap, and I was paying $1,000 a month child support voluntarily to her. She used to complain to her sisters about me, and her sisters would tell her, Diana, shut up. He take good care of you. You know what I'm saying? Like that. But you know, one time my oldest daughter and I were ordering something when they came to visit in New York. I think it was, I don't know, some burger or something like this. And so we were in the store. So I said, Gianna, what is it you want? And she said, just wait, dude. I said, oh, oh, dude, oh, oh, my word. Give me some Epsom, so please. I'm about to faint. She's called me a dude. So I'm fuming it. Ooh, like this. So we got back to the car, and she's sitting in the passenger seat. I said, don't you ever call me dude again. She said, flock you. I said, what? Pow! I smacked her. I smacked her. And I said, don't you ever say that to me again in your life. And uh, She cried back to her mother, "Oh, daddy, oh, daddy, mama." And I thought, "You put your hands on her. How dare you put your hands on her like this?" And I told her what she did. She said she didn't say that. She said didn't say that. But see, at that time, I was recording all the conversations with my daughters for prosperity. So I said, "Oh yeah, listen to this." And when I played the recording of her saying that, there was nothing else to say. Now, uh, uh, so that never, she never moved from that anger that's inside of her. I want to throw this in here because this is important. I drove from um, Las Vegas, I think Las Vegas, from Arizona, Las Vegas, to Portland, Oregon in the wintertime. Driving through the weather was scary. The snow was so thick you couldn't hardly see it. I had a 2016 Ford Fusion, but the snow was so thick, you know, the downpour, and the roads were very treacherous. And the huge trees. It's a beautiful forest. I'm sure I could have really appreciated it for the summertime, but it was rather intimidating, scary to know that I'm out here alone. So I went to Oregon at an invitation from my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law said, "Yes, you can stay with us." So I said, "Fine." When I got there, nobody answered their phones. I'm calling and I'm calling and I'm calling, and nobody picks up the phone. I didn't have nowhere to go. It was dead winter. It was winter time. It was cold. It was wet. You know, Diana's mother, Anita, Anita would be rolling over in her grave if she knew how Diana had treated me, how the family would have treated me, not not welcoming me, or at least sanctuary for a place to stay. I stayed in the garage at the VA building in the cold, you know, you know. I washed up in the restroom at the VA building, but the VA building is open 24 hours. You know. When it came time, when my daughter in New York had found out how the family was treating me, Janelle jumped on a plane and vroom, flew to Portland, Oregon, and tagged me. And we were in a hotel. She put me up in a hotel for about 5 days. Hey, like this, and kind of, I was very grateful for her. And then the kick in the head was that my oldest daughter Gianna, and the mother, they had to have a meeting to see if they wanted if if they wanted Diana to meet with me. You hear what I'm saying? She couldn't make that decision on her own because she was under the spell of my oldest daughter. And you know what my oldest daughter told her? Yeah, you guessed it. She told her no. And I never got to see him. Toward me, that she can't explain why it was there. And I couldn't understand why it wasn't there because I'm your father. And I've done nothing to you that was so, atrocious that you couldn't love me, you know, or couldn't forgive me or move past it and go on. My youngest daughter sent me a Father's Day card. I put it in my safe. About a year or so later, I opened it. And she said, "Dad, I apologize for all the things that we put you through. And I want you to know that I love you." And I started crying, man, because my oldest daughter, finally, my youngest daughter, was confirming, that, a lot of the stuff that they were doing was totally unnecessary, was just to get me. And Diana, when I was in the joint, I talked to her, and Diana finally she said, Gerard, I have to be honest with you. I said, what is it, Diana? She said, I never believed in you. I never loved you. I never believed in you. And I said, thank you, Diana. I said, I know that, but thank you for confirming it. So that's where we are today. You know, uh, you know, uh, I paid for acting lessons, dancing, all that stuff, all that stuff throughout the life. And you know, um, today to this day, my youngest is in my life, but my oldest is not. So when I talk about unconditional love, I know that even unconditional love, you know, can be tainted. Now, let's move on to love. Here in the Philippines, do you love your Filipino or are you in love with your Filipino? Let's talk about being in love. Being in love, oh my God, you see it in the movies. You feel it in the air. Oh, being in love with someone is, oh my God, it's so painful when you're not next to them. You're not near them. I mean, being in love is 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 hanging on the word, every word that comes out of their mouth. I mean, being in love with someone is something that that if it happens, if it happens, you know, it's a wonderful thing. Being in love. You know, have I ever been in love? Knowing my history of women, you know, knowing my experiences with women, you know, no, 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 no. I've never been in love. I've never been in love with someone. I've been close to it. Oh yes, I've been close to it. I've been close to it maybe once. You know, I was in love with someone. And I remember when that relationship broke up, I was on the floor in the kitchen, curled up in a position, crying. "Ah." I even posted on Facebook on my photos. If you find that photo, you look for that photo of me curled up and you read the text. But yeah, yeah. But being in love with a Filipina, no, no. I've had this conversation with Mia, telling her, Mia, the difference between being in love and loving someone are two different things. You know, I can't. Filipinas, I think, are not made to be in love with someone. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Those of you who are lucky out there who are in love with someone, I met some couples and I can tell the way they look at each other that they are in love with one another. Oh my God. Oh my God. And the jealousy of looking to smile, as they talk to one another. You can see the flowers and the blooms. All these things come out of the conversation when they're talking together because it's just pure joy and happiness. What happens behind closed doors, I don't know, but that's the impression that one gets when you see these two together. You know, but a lot of times relationships in the Philippines, you know, you, You can love them. Like I tell Mia, Mia, I love you. They are degrees of love, you know, degrees, you know. Like I know I love everybody in the world. You know, I have that love for mankind. I have that love for life and life itself, you know. I mean, yeah, you know, there are a lot of times I avoid squashing cockroaches. You know what I'm saying? But, but it the degrees of love grows. You know, you know, um, there are still some girls in my life that if I sat and thought about them, I get that feeling in the pit of my stomach that, oh my God, did I love you so much? Could that be interpreted as being in love with someone? I guess it can. I guess it can. You know, you know, and so it. I guess love never goes away. You know, and it shouldn't go away. If you love somebody, if you truly love somebody, you should love them for life. You may not get along with one another, you may not can't stand to see each other, but love is not like a light switch that you turn on and off, you know? You know? Now, I tell Mia, I said, I love you. I love you because I chose you. I chose you to be the one that I want to put all my affections, all my emotions, all my uh, per- personal desires and hunger into you. You. And I do this selfishly. When I say I do it selfishly, I mean that I don't expect it to come back from you. I don't expect you to love me the way I love you. I don't think Filipinos, majority of them don't know how to love, don't know love itself, are afraid of the word. They won't even say it, won't even say I love you. You know, I know, I can sit and and you know, and I can look at my wife, and I can sit and just look at her and just watch her and smile. And then she turns and she looks at me, and I'm still looking at her. It's not a look, a glance I hide or don't want her to know I'm looking at. No, I want you to know I'm looking at you. What are you looking at me for? I'm looking at you, baby, because I love you. Don't you understand that? Can you understand that? I love you. I'll do anything for you and your kids. That's how I show you I love you. And that's how us as foreigners, when it comes time for us for choosing someone, you choose them based upon, you know, you know, uh, what you do for them, you know, that you won't do for no one else. Now there's some cats that are able to, I know some cats that has a house here and has a duck and fuck apartment over here. Where or I'm traveling over here and travel with a mistress. You know, oh, I remember I was with this one guy and he was going somewhere, and there was another guy there, and he says to me, he says, "Look," he says, "I would ask you guys to come, but I know that he knows my wife, and I don't want it to get back to him that I'm with another girl." You know, you know. Well, I feel honored that you felt comfortable enough to letting me know that you were with another girl, but my lips are sealed. So love can be, all about convenience, man. All could be about convenience. How does a rich man know if he's loved or feared? You know, does she love him, because she loves him, or is she loving him because what he can do for her and what he provides for her, and the fear of losing that? You know, you have to you have to decide that. You know, I know that what I have here in the Philippines, for me, fits me just fine, just fine, just fine. You know, and I don't ever expect, I would love to have a girl that if someone's talking about me or someone's saying something about me, that she say, hey, look, look, that's just him. He's not the, I know him. You know what I'm saying? Why are you talking about him like that? Why are you telling me things like that? I would love to have a girl, come to me and said, I stood up for you, from what they're saying, or, I didn't take their side, I took your side. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying, like if my girl was having an argument with somebody, and I find out what it is, I would take her and say, yo, don't be talking to her like that. Don't be talking to her like that. You don't know the whole story. Want to be in it right, whatever. But that's better than them saying, "Oh, Gerard, it's your fault." Why did you say that? Why did you do that? And I look at him and say, "Why the fuck are you taking their side? Why are you going against me?" Never had that. Never had that. Maybe if I did, then maybe I would know that someone was in love with me. This is Gerard, Black in the Philippines, with the truth. Dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect the elderly, and always pull someone up. And sometimes you're the only one that can see your vision. And the best advice, the best revenge in life is to live good. I'm living good today. I hope you are too. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ollie Woodson once sung, treat her like a lady. And ladies, if you're lucky enough to have a good man like me, make him feel like a king. And that means put some work in it, girl. Put some work in it to let him know that you care about him. Put some work in it to let him know that you love him. You should not be an afterthought. You should not, say, well, where's mine? you know, like this. In any situation, you should be, yours is first. I remember watching, this comedian or something like this, and says, this woman goes to a family gathering, and and when and the husband stayed at home, and then when she comes in, here, honey, I brought you a plate. There's some barbecue ribs, some mashed potatoes, some corn, some vegetables. Here, I brought this for you. See. Although he wasn't with her, and she had to weigh it all, that while she was away from him, that he was on her mind, so that she brought him a plate of food home. Now that's being in love. Not just loving someone. That's being in love. That's taking care of someone. Fellas, are you being taken care of? Are you in love? Or just loving? There's nothing wrong with loving, because there's a lot of rewards in that too. I love you like a love song, baby. I'll talk to you later. Be good to yourself.
Peace.